views on the sunny side.
92.3 Nigeria Info.
Let's talk.
Let's talk.
This is the sunny side, right here on the talk station of the nation, 90.3 Nigeria Info. Good afternoon to you. How do you do? It's 20 minutes gone past 12 noon on this beautiful Monday afternoon, Monday, the 19th day in the month of July 2021. It's a rather wet, rainy afternoon to be looking at the sunny side. My name is Denise Dennis, not the usual voice you will listen to at this time. Yes, you should be listening to my colleague, Gabriela Ayan, who is absent, and I had to stand in for her at this time. But I'm new here. Yes, I'm actually new here on the sunny side. So I'd like to plead with you to be nice to me. And I am looking forward to a rather smooth sail, or would I say a smooth journey from now up until 3 p.m., when I will take my bags and everything I came into the studio with, and I will be out of the way. After, of course, handing you over to Dayo Elushakin on Hard Facts. What do we have in store for us today? We'll start with something centered on churches in Nigeria. Over the weekend, there was a trending story of the sack of winners pastors. Well, over 40 of them, stated by some of the national newspapers, particularly the Punch newspaper. So we're going to look at that, and key questions we'll try to answer are very simple. Should pastoring be classified as a standard job, making it worthy of qualities related to employability, sack, and even suspension? And while we look at the story of the sacked pastors, is it right to say that the sack was appropriate? And I'll ask you why. I'm asking why based on certain things that I was able to discover from scriptures. Well, after that conversation, will be time for the news update at 1. When we come back, we will have Talk Your Own, a 30 minutes recorded program that will run up until 1:30 p.m. And then we'll come back and look at the accuracy of first impressions. Now, remember the popular saying about first impressions? Well, they say that first impressions matters a lot, and we never get a second chance to make a first impression. But the question is, how accurate are the above statements? So we'll be discussing the accuracy of first impressions. 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. It'll be time for Family Matters with Pastor Wisdom and Favor Osiri. Today, we'll look at your temperament and parenting. So that's the show for today. I do hope that you have a smooth sail with me. And by the time we're done, we will indeed say that it was a time well spent right here on the sunny side of Nigeria. Info FM. Very quickly, let me share a little detail with you. Now, we all know that every business has its modus operandi, which in most cases is generally accepted standard practice. A business is set out to make profit, and the goal of the originator, the creator of the business, is for things like growth, things like sustainability. And on that note, when recruitment is being carried out for new employees, I beg your pardon, and there's certain things that are considered. That's why we hear things like, is this person qualified for the job? Is that person qualified for the job? Because when they employ you, they see you as one who is able to run with and drive the vision of the business. Hence, you are seen as adding to the business. You're seen as an asset to the business, and you're seen to bring in all your expertise and all your wealth of experience and all your knowledge to impact on the business. Some people see church as a business. After all, even the Lord Jesus in Luke 2 from verse 49, it says, And he said unto them, how is it that ye sought me? Wist ye not that I must be about my Father's business? So, it will not then be seen to be out of place that church operations are the Lord's work. Or it wouldn't be out of place to see church operations as doing the Lord's work. Operations like employing pastors and saddling them with responsibilities geared towards growing the church sounds appropriate, right? We'll talk more about this after this break. Please stay tuned to us.
Connect with your customers. Advertise on 92.3 Nigeria Info. Visit our downtown office at Shop 9, Mediatrix of All Gracies Plaza, opposite FIRS, Stadium Road, Port Harcourt, and book your commercials. Call 0817 001 8162. That is 0817 001 8162. And let us connect you to your customers. Connect with your customers. Advertise on 92.3 Nigeria Info. Visit our downtown office at Shop 9, Mediatrix of All Gracies Plaza, opposite FIRS, Stadium Road, Port Harcourt, and book your commercials. Call 0817 001 8162. That is 0817 001 8162, and let us connect you to your customers. Connect with your customers. Advertise on 92.3 Nigeria Info. Visit our downtown office at Shop 9, Mediatrix of All Gracies Plaza, opposite FIRS, Stadium Road, Port Harcourt, and book your 0817 001 0817 001 8162, and let us connect you to your customers. Connect with your customers. Advertise on 92.3 Nigeria Info. Visit our downtown office at Shop 9, Mediatrix of All Gracies Plaza, opposite FIRS, Stadium Road, Port Harcourt, and book your commercials. Call 0817 001 8162. That is
Okay, welcome back to the sunny side. The sack of winners pastors is the conversation we are having at the moment. I was trying to illustrate something to you about how standard practice of some businesses, what they are. You're expected to bring in revenue, and that's why some businesses will have marketers, because the marketers go out and they source for clients, and that's why they do adverts, and that's why they do a lot of publicity. And some churches have what we call a church office that would have a secretary. They would have security personnel. They would have accountants, and then I also know for a fact that some churches have what we call full-time pastors. These full-time pastors, their work is the Lord's work. You see, they wake up in the morning, like you and I wake up in the morning. Those of us that do the 9-to-5 job, they dress up in suits and tie and shirt, and they head to the church. They have an office in the church, and they sit down from morning up until it's evening, and they are done with work, and they go back home. So all the time they spend in the church, they're either counseling, doing some sort of documentation, getting their records straight, monitoring church growth, and so many other things they do. And then when it's time for the midweek services and the Sunday services or church functions, they make appearances, and of course they minister the word. Pastor Peter Godwin, a cleric with the Living Faith Church International, popularly known as Winners Chapel, says that the church sacked him and about 40 other persons in Ekiti State for failing to grow their respective parishes. In a letter that has been trending on social media, dated June 25th, 2021, this year, last month, and signed by the Executive Secretary of the Church, Adebisi Aboluwade, the pastors were asked to vacate their official accommodation and hand over their identity cards to their respective area pastors. What a coincidence. I'm in the studio with my own identity card, indicating that I am a staff member of Nigeria Info. So, assuming I am one of those pastors, I would vacate the accommodation given to me by the church, and I will have to return this card. And when I return the card, what does that mean? I am no longer in the employment of the management of the church. Now, one of the letters read in part, consequent about the recent performance reviews, which revealed that your church growth index falls below expectations, please be informed that your services as a pastor in charge are no longer required from this commission with immediate effect. You are to vacate the official accommodation where applicable, that is, if you were handed over an accommodation, and hand over all properties of the ministry in your custody, including your staff identity card, to the area pastor before departure. May you find grace for a new beginning. Peace. Now, Pastor Godwin claimed to be one of these pastors affected in Ekiti State, stating that he was employed on August 28, 2021. And it may sound out of place. How do you employ a pastor? Prior to this time, the work of pastoring is the work of God. That is why you hear statements like, the Lord called me. And after the call comes what we call an ordination. So you are ordained to serve as a man of God, whether you are the presiding bishop or the founding father or the creator or the resident pastor or the assistant pastor or the pastor in charge. You go through a process of ordination, which is not what we would see in the normal business space. Now, he claimed that he was invited with over 40 of his colleagues by the state pastor as at the 1st of July 2021, but was sacked for failing to grow the revenue of the church. Now, the other side of the story says that the reason for the sack was because they were not generating enough income. And I laugh because this would only make sense if you work maybe in the banking industry or the finance industry, because I hear that everybody is assigned a quota. You're supposed to generate XYZ amount of money per time. But from the letter I see, it was nothing related to income generation. And I know some of you are already thinking, I said it. People are running church like businesses. What is the business with church and income if they are not looking for money from members? No, the letter actually said church growth. It means that maybe they've been having only 20 members for a very long time. And the mandate of the church is to have over 1 million members by a certain period of time. So it could be for the first quarter, the second quarter, the third quarter, or for the year 2021, the goal of this church is to have 2 million members per service, right? And this sounds like something that people would say. This sounds like something that your employer would say to you. The goal of this business is to generate 2 million naira by the end of every month. This 2 million naira, as you already know, will be used to pay your salaries, service equipment, fuel generator. It will be used for refreshment. It will be used for this. I mean, sometimes when you have meetings with HR, these are some of the things that you would like to hear. But then, this is church business. This is the work of God. Should it be handled the same way we will handle our regular businesses? Let's talk. The numbers are 0817 923 0002 0817 923 0003 0817 923 0007, and the female caller line is 0817 923 0009. On WhatsApp and Telegram, we are 0809 030 6416. You can watch us live on Facebook. Our Facebook page is Nigeria Info 92.3 PH. Do not just watch live, be a part of the conversation. Do remember to turn down the volume of your radio set when you call. Hello, good afternoon.
Okay,
good afternoon, Charles. Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon. When you say they did not specifically state that it is financial obligation that made them to sack the pastors, it makes me laugh. I'm going to give an instance now. If you go along that reason, you see that these telecommunication networks give you SIM cards for free. If you take SIM card for free, what is the idea? The idea is that if I gather more people using my SIM card, in using that SIM card, for that to be useful to you, you have to reload those SIM cards. So the end product of it is that put these SIM cards as much people as possible, and at the end of the day, majority of them are going to be reloading those SIM cards. That is one side of the coin. Secondly, it's that, as in it's purely for church growth.
Yes.
I thought they said we pray that it is God that brings members to church. So why are you putting the burden on the pastor? God will get the prayer, they normally pray. If God brings the member, he tracks them, he brings them. Because we pray that they shouldn't have accidents, they shouldn't break their lesson coming to church, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
So why do you not put the responsibility on the pastor?
What if, like we said, a church business is actually like every other business? For instance, I'm an on-air personality, and I was saddled with the responsibility to ensure that I grow listenership. As much as the equipment is made available for me, all I need to do is show up at work and come up with good content that brings the listenership. What am I going to hold responsible if after churning out good content and listeners do not tune in to the show, do not tune in to Nigeria Info?
Excellent. Now, in this case, it's quite different.
Okay.
I like your presentation. I like your on-air personality you have in your station, for example. Because people do a lot of research and do a lot of work. In these major all-time churches, most of the time, the time is so documented in such a way that the pastor cannot even preach his own message. So the messages you also preach are designed from the headquarters. That's why you have things like employment. So we're employing you to do exactly what we have asked you to do. So if I don't know what they have asked him to do, so why are you not putting the burden on him to expand? I'm going to give an instance, for example. I'm from Africa.
All right, quickly. We have other people waiting, yeah.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much. Mrs. Zion, good morning. Sorry, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes,
Didi.
good afternoon.
Honestly, it's so pathetic over such an issue happening in the church. You know, when I took this from this doctrine that the church is our problem, and people thought I was just making moves. A church should not employ a pastor.
Okay.
You that is the Jew who employed you.
God.
Where is your own?
If I was called by God, it only makes sense to say that God called me. I don't know what we hear. God called me.
Later, as you are issuing employment letter to your other assistant pastor, where is your own employment letter? The truth is this. These are the kind of people that bring shame to the body of Christ. And now, we expect that those who are lost, who are looking for an opportunity to restore their soul, if they hear such things, how will they do the church? That is why today the church is so infiltrated with all manner of...
So, Mr. Zion, I asked two straightforward questions. I'm going to go over the questions again, and I just need a yes or no answer. Should pastoring be classified as a standard job, thereby making it worthy of qualities related to employability,
No,
and suspension?
No, ma'am.
Second question. The sack of these pastors, can it be seen as appropriate if they fall short of the standard?
It's inappropriate.
Okay, what if it was something unrelated to church growth? What if it was something somewhat related to allegations of theft, allegations of sexual
rape, molestation, criminals, by phoning the church? Yes. That is a man that is not trustworthy, a dishonest member.
Okay.
It must be removed from the system.
Okay.
But this is not related to that.
Okay.
Oh, you are not growing what? Money. Not even so, no. But you don't talk about you are not growing soul.
No, hold on. I'm reading from the letter, word for word. Consequent upon the recent performance reviews, which revealed that your church growth index falls below expectations. And according to the statement of one of the pastors, he said the reason was because they were not growing their respective parishes. So it wasn't a thing of income.
Is it by planting parishes or growing the church, as in the number of people of that particular church? If you're talking about growing parishes, oh, we open one parish in Zion's community B, another satellite church. That is what they are looking for. And
Thank you so much. I'm going through some of the comments I have on Facebook. This comment reads, Ben Marcus, I read the letter from Winners Chapel and he did not mention anything about money. Rather, it used the word church growth. Christ called us to engage in evangelism. Matthew 28 from verse 18 to 20. Any pastor that fails at that core duty should be sacked. This is what Christ told us in Matthew 25 verse 14 to 29. I wish I had my Bible here, but time will not permit me to read through the scriptures. Moving on, he goes further to say the sacked pastor who went to the press after releasing a live video is playing on your emotions. He's not considering that it's undermining the faith of believers. In John 15:16, Christ says, I choose you and appointed you that you should go out and bear fruit. Now ask yourself what the consequence of not bearing fruit is. Christ answered that question in John 15 verse 2. Every branch in me that does not bear fruit, he takes away. That is why the only thing Jesus ever cursed in his lifetime on earth is the fig tree that bore no fruit. Mark 14, Winners Chapel is in order. All right, thank you. And you aren't delivering, he will collect it from you and give it to someone else that is capable. Don't forget the parable of the talent in the Bible. All right, thank you. Oh, all right. Aracela, thank you. Thank you so much. JD from LMA. Good afternoon, JD.
Hello, good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon. How are you doing?
I'm okay. I've been on the line for 5 minutes.
I'm sorry about that. Sorry about that. Go ahead, let's talk.
Yeah, it's quite absurd for us to start for lots of growth in the church. I don't know, going and actually to simplify it. It shows how the churches have become.
But like I said, my introduction of the conversation, I quoted Luke 2 from verse 49. Even Christ Jesus referred to his work on earth as his Father's business. So he was doing the Lord's work. He's doing the Lord's business.
It's not business in terms of finance.
Well, this was not
still economic people to heaven. So that's not the kind of business. So let's not mix things up. And yet, they are very good at business, very strict with their finances, and yet they recruit members to jettison their businesses and come to church. How weird that is. You are taking care of your own business, and yet you are putting pressure, especially on women, to come to church at all costs, all kinds of programs. I don't think that is fair.
All right, that's not fair, JD says. Alex from Chantamadi. Good afternoon, Alex. Welcome.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you.
Yeah, from what you just read, I think somebody sent a text and you read about Christ sending you to get flocks and all that.
Yeah, bear fruits, yeah.
Bear fruit. That means to expand, bring more people to the Lord, not money. I don't think the Jesus Christ from the story I read or which I was taught in Sunday school while growing up, Jesus Christ never talked about doing business in the church. party got angry when people were doing business in the church.
My brother Alex, never in this conversation did I state that the reason for the sack was based on finance. I only shared that some people are of the opinion that the sack was based on not generating income. But I think we understand simple English. And it said church growth. Church growth was the reason.
I understand. You said church growth.
Yes.
But my sister, is there on every print media that those pastors were sacked for not bringing in money? I have read the story.
Okay, yes, I read several stories. But hold on, Alex, hold on. A story is a story. Allegedly is the word we usually will use for such stories. Okay. But this is a letter. This is a letter. This is what the letter reads. So how did someone deduce the meaning that this sack was as a result of not generating income? How did income come into this letter? Because this is the letter. And in this letter, nothing of income or nothing centered on income was referred to here.
Okay, so what they told us was that they did not generate growth.
In their words, church growth index falls below expectations.
Okay, in other words, the pastor, the general overseer, employed people that wouldn't know how to keep church members or how to go into feed.
No, they're not bringing in enough members from the kingdom of darkness to the kingdom of light. The goal is we must catch them all, take them from the enemy's camp and bring them to the kingdom of light, to the word of salvation. I'm just saying. Is it that the church population is reducing, or there is a particular population that is being given for them to see? The more the population, the more the money. We understand this thing. These are business people. Leave them alone. Alex. Thank you, Alex. Alex says the more the population, the more the money. Good afternoon, Denise. For me, I don't think they should be dropped like in my church. The best thing to do is to post them to another location and bring new pastors, because church growth is mostly spiritual than physical. Thank you. I am Daniel. Emmanuel Isijala in Port Harcourt says, it's rather uncalled for and unnecessary to sack pastors for low turn-up in finance. Where did we come about the finance narrative? It would have been justified, arguably, if the sack was as a result of poor attendance in congregation or non-repentance from sin or even for non-readiness for heaven. Finance in churches should be the ultimate. Living Faith Church is a church with huge potential for human resources. I doubt if a member as big as that can relieve a pastor of his job in such a manner. Dominic Obina sent that in. Good afternoon, presenter. People turn church to their personal business. When you look at some pastors' character, you shed tears for the death of Christ. If God called you, you can win many souls without building a church. By Ogo Godwin. Trust Cletus says, so even Jesus knows that not everyone will be able to produce same amount of fruit. Soki Fubura from Port Harcourt says, we've got to focus more on winning souls and preaching about repentance and upright living so as to go to heaven. We may play with grammar, but most of our churches are money-oriented. Nigerian Info, good afternoon to you.
Hello?
Hi, good afternoon.
Oh, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear. Go on, what's your name?
Oh, okay, I'm Abel.
Abel, you're welcome. Let's talk.
Okay, then.
Yes?
Please, don't put the phone. I said that you're a smart lady.
Come again?
See, I want to correct something.
Okay, go ahead. Feel free.
When you talk about you quote Luke, and then you mention business. That is a wrong translation, you understand? Because if you look at translation in the Bible, it is still confusion and the same Bible. The words they work. Okay, now you remember the 12 that went with Jesus the night of Israel. They asked to pray alongside him. And they were all sleeping. He didn't just agree with them and so. Rather, he encouraged to do more. Whether is it called a sound of the scholarship status?
Your line is breaking. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
So now, if I understand you correctly, let me see if I understand what you've been saying so far. You'll have a problem with the use of business, as I quoted from the book of Luke, right? Hello?
Yes.
And you say that some other translations will use the word work, right? Okay, have you heard of something called synonyms? Words that are similar to each other, words that can be used in place of other words before?
Yes.
Exactly. So if I use the word business, I'm in order. If I use the word work, I'm in order. If I use the word job, I'm still in order. If I use the word assignment, I'm in order. If I use the word duties, I'm in order. If I use the word project, I'm still in order. Right?
You could be right, but in this particular situation, it's wrong in the sense that the word business, if somebody has a business, it's a business, and they employ people, they expect the employer of the person is employee. So, you talk to the business in order for the business to do it.
Okay.
But in this situation, when I just do something like that, it is not my business. It's an issue.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Ovieyin John says, this is the result we get when we call ourselves and God does not call us. Peter says, Brushwood growth again. More members, more money. We are quick to defending our pastors. This is from Christopher. Christopher says, church growth could be numerical or financial growth. Let's leave spiritual growth out of this now and concentrate on the numerical and financial growth. If the pastors are sacked because of numerical growth, will the pastors tie people and drag them to the church? If it is because of monetary growth, will these pastors force their members to get money from them? The truth remains that sacking pastors based on the two subjects above is totally wrong. This kind of sack is not different from what we know in the business world. My dear, church growth in what way? I know all of this before now. I have seen situations where some pastors were made subordinate to their junior pastors because they could not meet up with the financial needs of the headquarters. Do you know that there are fixed amounts a church must remit to its quarters time to time, and the pastors involved must do everything possible to remit such amount if they love their job? On the other hand, winning more souls brings in more money. You know, there was a time the argument cropped up, the argument about whether or not pastors should be paid salaries, the argument as to whether or not pastors in Chad should be in the know of how much revenue is generated from a particular branch or a particular parish. There was also the argument that pastors should not take money from the church purse, that if ever money is supposed to be remitted, the church board will have to come together and sit and discuss. And so the church board will have to decide what the general overseer, the founding father, the presiding bishop, the GO, as we'll have it, the pastor in charge, takes home every month. Yes, we have what we call part-time pastors. And part-time pastors are at liberty to go into businesses and do several other things or engage in several other activities that are indeed legitimate to make money. But what happens to full-time pastors that have sold their entire life to the work of God, that would have to move in from one state to the other state with their family? One day the man is a pastor in charge of Port Harcourt branch. The next day he has to move with his family, wife, children, down to maybe Bayelsa. And then the other day he's moved into another state, and the children have to bear the cross with him. You are changing schools every now and then. My father is a pastor, so we are relocating and all of that and all of that. And how is he expected to take care of his children and all of that? It didn't make sense when you say that it is possible to employ a pastor full-time. And if I am employing you full-time, I am saddling you with a responsibility. So if I read through that letter correctly, they were also given accommodations. And they were given something to identify them, what we call a staff identity card. It means that, yes, their activities as head of the churches is supposed to be in line with the overall goal of the church. And I don't think the overall goal of the church should be any different from the goal handed over by God to the, is it general overseer now? To the general overseer or the founder of the church. The question still remains, should pastoring be classified as a standard job? This message says church growth denotes money growth. This other one reads, the fruit that the Bible is talking about there is not being customers to church business. It is bearing the fruit of the Spirit. I planted, Apollos watered, but God keeps making it grow. So that neither is the one who plants anything, nor is it the one who waters, but God who makes it grow. 1 Corinthians 3, verse 6 and 7. I enjoy the fact that most of us are very biblically inclined. You know, we're so quick to call in the scriptures when some of these conversations come up on radio. Now this one reads, if a Nigerian were the missionaries that brought Christianity to Africa, we would have been buying salvation for £1. NS from Woji. Nigeria Info.
Yes, good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon to you. How are you doing?
Yes, I'm good.
Welcome.
How's your day going?
Very well, thank you. Let's talk.
Okay, my name is Ibiso from Otile Road.
Ibiso, you're welcome. Go ahead.
My sister, the thing there is, before you want to, you are a pastor, and now they post a branch to handle a branch. One thing you have to do, you have to go for soul winning. Because maybe if the members are 100, for example, and you were there since February to this July, we have, and if the population is still 100, you are not doing it. You are not committed to the kingdom of God. But normally you have to set a program, even for the church, without the headquarters. You can say that this Saturday, not also for fishing, for soul winning, you know, to demonstrate the kingdom of hell and to increase the kingdom of hell. You understand? So if the church body thinks that you are not making any impact in that aspect, you have to put it somewhere for you. But before that, you get to that church, you know how the church is doing.
Okay.
You don't oversee as a person. I've got different for soul winning with different members to win souls to friction. So why you? I mean, they are just to sit down to eat. It's not like that in the Christendom.
All right.
What they say, ministry is military.
Military. All right. Thank you so much. Church growth index, with my small understanding, index is deduced from 2 or more parameters. We can't rule out finance. 1 Corinthians 3:16, Paul plotted. Okay, we've read this, seen this before. Okay. For those pastors to be sacked, it simply means they were at the service of the pastor or employer, not God. So it's explicit now that probably lots of the pastors that are doing the pastor's business. LS from Megbelu. For me, the manner of their disengagement from service is very wrong. Where can they start from? It was as if they committed a crime, and I think that was the reason the pastor went on air. Profidada sent that in. Hey Didi, if the pastor was a true man of God, his first response after being dismissed wouldn't be to run to social media to play victim. So the parish should be able to run on its own. So in a way, the pastor is employed to manage that parish and grow the congregation, and was failing at that. People are holding the view of finance because of the raging argument that a lot of GOs and church leaders are living large at the expense of their members. The church is an easy target for this kind of criticism. Has anybody also considered that maybe some members had complained that the pastor doesn't inspire them with lifting messages or deliveries? So there are other dimensions that couldn't possibly have been on the letter. I'm not supporting the church, just being pragmatic. Wait, yes, if membership is low, but them get money, drop better offering, will it be that good despite low membership? More questions. Employed to do a job is to deliver an objective. Let us set sentiments aside and be more logical. Deji, thank you. And for everyone that joined the conversation, I'm sorry I couldn't take all your calls and I couldn't read all your messages. Up next is the news update at 1. Thereafter, it will be BBC Talk Your Own, a 30 minutes recorded program. When we come back on the other side of the sunny side, we'll look at the conversation, the accuracy of first impressions. My name is Denise Dennis. Thank you so much for doing this with me. Do stay tuned as we have more in store for you.